If you've ever gotten home after a shoot and pulled up your photos on your computer and just sighed, not because everything was terrible, but because things just weren't quite right either, this video is for you, because that feeling has a cause and it is very fixable. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what causes you to miss important shots and the specific things you can do right now to fix it. And be sure to stick around till the end, because I'm going to tell you about the graduation session that finally broke my bad habit for good. The thing I did beforehand that completely changed the way the day went. If you've ever come home from a shoot dreading the editing, you will want to hear it. If you're new here, I'm Karen. I spent 13 years shooting portraits professionally, taught myself photography the hard way, and I'm here to help you stop wasting all your time on the back end of your sessions. Before we dive in, if you want a shortcut to figure out exactly what's been quietly tripping you up, I have a free guide called Fix It Fast. It covers the top 5 mistakes that photographers make and exactly how to fix them. The link is in the description and it's completely free. Go check it out. The real mistake here is that it's not technical ignorance. It's going into the shot with the notion of knowing what to do, but not stopping or slowing down to actually apply it. Most photographers in the frustrated middle ground aren't missing knowledge at all. They're just missing the habit of using what they know before the shutter clicks. And the gap between knowing and doing is where important shots get lost. Drop me a comment. Have you ever gotten home from a shoot knowing exactly what went wrong, but you didn't catch it in the moment? I'm genuinely curious to know how common this actually is. Let's talk about lighting for a minute. You know as well as I do that when you're in a situation like outdoors where there's zero control over your lighting, that all of your manual mode settings are going to change from spot to spot no matter where you are outdoors. Settings that work for open sun aren't going to work for shade underneath a tree that's just 10 feet away from you. And direction matters too. A backlit subject versus a harsh front lighting versus shade under a tree, all of those use different exposures completely. But moving fast through a location without resetting your settings at every space you go to is one of the most common reasons why shots come home wrong. It isn't a skills problem, it's a habit problem. Oftentimes when we miss focus on our subject, we think that it's a gear problem, but it almost never is. Because if something is in front of your subject or behind your subject that is in sharp focus when you're reviewing your images later, you know that your aperture is working properly, just not for the situation you're in. If your aperture is too wide and you're too close to your subject, you can almost guarantee there will be some missed focus. And if you have 2 subjects and they're slightly different distances away from you and the aperture is too wide, this often results in one subject being in focus and the other one being a little bit soft. And the fix to this is really simple and really boring. Simply back up a little bit from your subject and then also increase your aperture with a higher aperture number and give yourself enough room between you and your subjects to create a wider depth of field so that you're getting more in focus. For many years, I'd convinced myself, because my focus was off like constantly, that I needed to micro adjust all of my lenses. For some reason, I was thinking it was my gear, and so I went through the whole process of getting every single one of my lenses micro adjusted to each of my camera bodies, because I thought for sure this was the problem. It couldn't be me, right? But the actual problem is my lenses were completely fine. They did not need micro adjusting. I just needed to give a little bit more space between me and my subjects. It is really easy to fall into the fix it later trap with editing. Editing as a backup plan is completely fine, but editing as the default plan quietly kills your growth as a photographer. When Lightroom becomes a rescue plan instead of an enhancement plan, your in-camera skills stop developing and you get really good at editing, like genuinely good at editing, but your eye for getting it right in the moment stays soft. I used to resent coming home and having to edit each of my sessions because it was so much work just to fix all of my images because I never got them right in camera while I was at the session. So editing became this rescue mission constantly. And if I wanted editing to be a creative step, I had to add on even more work to get there. And another issue that happened because I was editing so much is that I would start over-promising things to clients. I would tell them I could do composites or merge photos together or photoshopping people in that weren't at the session. This opened up a whole world of unnecessary misery. So tell me honestly, are you shooting to get it right or are you shooting to fix it later? No judgment whatsoever. I lived in the second camp for a very long time. Tell me in the comments. To be intentional at your sessions to get your settings right in camera doesn't mean you have to be really slow. It just means you need to work in a few little checkpoints into how you already shoot. When you're at a location and you're moving around from spot to spot, just take 10 seconds before you take your next shot in a new location. Check where the light is coming from, adjust whatever settings that you need to adjust. Just don't take the first shot with the last spot settings. And before every session, just have a loose mental checklist that you go through in your mind. What location are you shooting at? What are the lighting conditions that day? What combinations do you need to cover the session and cover all of your other technical bases. And if something isn't working, just stop, take 5 seconds and adjust things. Don't just keep shooting and hope that it's all gonna work out. And that graduation session I told you about, I've been shooting the same graduation for years for this particular school. Every year I came home and I was very disappointed with everything that I got because the ceilings were really high, my on-camera flash wasn't working as well as I would have liked it to, my settings always seemed to be wrong somehow, and my white balance was a complete disaster. And I would spend days, if not weeks, trying to get this graduation session edited. But the last time I shot this graduation, I decided that I was not doing this anymore. So I went there ahead of time and I took plenty of test shots. I came home and reviewed everything to see what could I do differently this time. How could I get the actual shots to work out in camera first? I studied all of the images. I tried to figure out exactly how I could get the best results while I was there. So when I went to that graduation, I was completely prepared with all the settings that I was going to use. And do you know what happened as a result? I handed that gallery in the next day. And that's exactly why it makes such a huge difference to spend a few minutes and get everything right that you need and not have to fix it all later. The mistake that's costing you the shot isn't about what you don't know. It's about not slowing down long enough to use what you do know before you press the shutter instead of after. Check your settings when you move spots. Give yourself enough distance to nail focus every single time. And stop treating your editing software as a safety net and start treating your camera like the tool that it is. You're not bad at photography. You may just be going too fast to let yourself be good at it. I genuinely care that you're getting better at this. Not just collecting tips from YouTube videos, but actually seeing it change in your photos. So go shoot something this week with that in mind. Just make one intentional checkpoint before you press the shutter and see what happens. Don't forget, my free Fix It Fast guide is linked below. It covers the top 5 mistakes that photographers make and exactly what to do to fix it. Go grab it. And hey, real quick before you go, what's one thing that drives you crazy about photography? Drop it in the comments. I need to know I'm not the only one in this industry with pet peeves.